Welcome to Lynx River Talk. We're back with you guys today, but you might notice something a little different about two of our characters in this episode. Sylvie Lebret and Andre Cormier both have new actors today.
Yeah, that's definitely a different feel we have to both characters, so
Yes.
it's kind of cool, and it gives us something to talk about.
Yes, Sylvie Lebret, if you remember watching our interview with Annette, you'll get to find out why she didn't come back, kind of. She goes over that. And yeah, she is now played by Michelle Thrush, and starting this episode. Andre Cormier was originally played by, sorry about the possible name butchering, Donald Pion.
Yeah, I believe so.
And he's now played by Ivan?
Yeah.
Ivan Ponton.
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 I believe.
We're trying, I promise. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's our character.
Those are our
introductions for this week, and
not really just those, actually. We've got two new people, actually.
Yeah, but that's our character changes, I guess.
Yeah. So two new people for this week. We've got Chris Lebret. He is the son of, obviously, Sylvie Lebret and Andre Lebret.
Mm-hmm. And he is played by
Judson's little brother, Brett. I am not even going to try pronouncing your name, last name. I can't. I'm sorry. I'll put it on the screen.
But yeah, he was
Leonard's brother, like Leonard Saki, you guys remember him? Mm-hmm. Judson, played by Judson Puyak. They are real life brothers.
Yeah. So we saw that with other cast members. It seems like a lot of the child actors, they try to get siblings to perform.
Yeah, well, not even just that. With Annette, remember, her mother was on the show as well.
Yeah.
It's just family members in general, I think, because they're really trying to... So I think it makes that North of 60 family on set feel even more like a family when you get your family there. And it gets them involved more with the family too, so it really extends, I think, that family together. I think it seems like a really nice, close place to be.
And then
Jamie Lebret, which is, as far as we can tell, Jamie is the younger sibling of Chris, and she is Sylvie Lebret and Andre Lebret's daughter. So without further ado, before we start talking too much more, we'll get started.
Yeah, let's get into the summary.
Yes.
So we start out with Andre Lebret.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And he's mad at Jerry this time for the price of furs.
I think it's more like not really mad at this point. I think he's just like really like upset. Like he's kind of frustrated, and it's just like.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a little mad, but
rightfully so. I mean, he's getting less for his work than he used to, and let's face it, costs go up, not down.
Yeah, Jerry is trying to give him, I think, 20 for them originally each or something, and Harris warns Peter about Andre just blowing through, and that it isn't really a good idea for him to go there. To the coffee shop.
Jerry ultimately gives Andre $80.
Yeah, for the furs. That's how much he had offered him, and then Andre stormed out and was willing to accept the lower price because he stormed out, but Jerry just gives him the higher price.
Yeah. So we got.
Don't worry about it. We're all frustrated by the fur situation.
So we got Sylvie applying for a job. Andre storms in.
She's trying to get a job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in the.
Sorry, I just mean for applying. It just seems like there's one available. So.
So Andre storms into the band hall, and then Harris kind of doesn't do anything to really make the situation get any calmer.
He's like,
acts like a jerk to him.
Oh, he's just like. Yeah, and he's not good. He's not here. and I don't know when he's gonna be back. So
Right.
you might as well just leave, pretty much. And he's got this smile on his face,
says,
right?
you know, I'll wait, and then Harris says, hall's rented. You mind leaving or something like that?
Yeah, and he's just got like this like smile. It's just like
so
even I wanted to punch you, Harris.
So Andre bursts into the band office
with a rifle now. Harris, I blame you.
Yeah.
So, if you didn't kick him out, he wouldn't have come back with a rifle.
So Wayne gets the Mounties. Michelle clears Joey and TV away from the window for now.
Yeah, that doesn't last long.
And then we got Eric entering the band hall.
That goes perfectly.
Yeah, with caution, obviously. He has to put down his weapon.
Yeah.
So Andre lets everyone go except Harris and Sylvie and the kids.
So Michelle ends up stopping Peter and ends up sending him to the coffee shop in the end. Like, they kind of argue. And like,
Peter's trying to go in.
Yeah, and so he's like, I'm not going to just sit at home. And then she's like, okay. Like, she lets him go to the coffee shop. And I just love that scene where she's like physically actually like stopping him.
Yeah, she's really worked up, and you can see why. I mean,
well, yeah, but
I just tense situation.
Yeah, what I just meant though, like, it was just like, it was a great scene. It was funny.
So Andre is not happy, obviously. Harris.
What do you mean? He seems like he is the happiest person there.
So then Harris.
Cowardly.
Yeah. Just, you can see him try to get scared, start to get scared, and he tries to make a break for the door, and he gets shot. He takes one in the arm. So then.
Kind of shoulder, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
I think it was like there.
No, I think it was in the arm.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, he gets out. So I guess it worked.
Andre.
So you gotta do to get out. Andre takes a little bit of blood at least.
And then he sends Eric to kind of go get Peter, and Eric goes and calls Hay River. So while he's doing that, Michelle attempts to bring ice cream to the like everybody for the kids and everything, but lo and behold, a woman with a baby is coming down the street. Now this sends Michelle into a total panic. She drops it, rushes off to the baby, and Peter sneaks it.
Yeah.
And sorry, I dropped it.
And there's some dramatic music.
Actually, we'll just go with just pick up from after Peter sneaks it.
Okay. So then Eric heads in. Doesn't go well. Eric's not doing much to basically calm the situation down, even though he's trying. It's just not working.
Yeah, well, it's really intense, and like, really, because of all the intensity of the situation and all the parties that won't stay put, they really need more people. Like, they're trying to get everybody to stay like in the coffee shop, trying to keep everybody else out down the street. Plus, then they gotta watch the situation. Poor Eric's like running around with a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah, with a chicken with his head cut off?
Oh, like a chicken with his head cut off, sorry.
That would be amusing. So
now I'm picturing like Eric running around with his chicken squirting blood out of his neck.
I want to see it. I don't know why. I've got problems.
So Eric takes over the cover, like Michelle's kind of like pointing the gun and watching or whatever. I don't know. She's covering is what I thought.
From the window, I think. Right?
It's like kind of a cross, but you can see. Anyways, and then she gets Michelle to go around back, and I think she ends up clearing out more kids at this point again because they're stupid.
So Andre and Peter have a talk. And that doesn't go very well.
But the kids are sent out.
Yeah. Peter was trying to offer him work, I think, as a wood cutter. And it just wasn't, it's almost an insult because obviously Andre is a proud guy. He's worked hard his whole life, and he's made a lot of money, so now,
I think that was offered when all three of them were talking, though.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that happens in 2 seconds, so it doesn't matter. Kids are sent out, and Rosie runs and grabs the kids. Now this, we love, like, this is, you can really see Rosie's character in this couple of scenes. The balls, the love.
Yeah, Rosie is the tough guy of the town, even though she's a woman. She's the toughest person in town. She's got like, you know, no fear, absolutely.
And she's a mom.
She runs out there, grabs the kids, runs back in, you know, so it's, you know, like there's no question of her own safety.
She doesn't care. It's all about the kids. That's what matters, and that's what makes Rosie Rosie. So yeah, Andre and Peter and Sylvie all try to talk, and this really doesn't go well.
Yeah, I think this is the part with the wood cutting. Like
yeah, like Sylvie's getting into it at this point, and it's just because she's the one who mentions that he can cut wood or something, I think.
So then Andre has the gun to Peter's face at this point, and you know I think it's because Peter makes some kind of gesture, you know, telling him to let Sylvie go, and then, you know, Andre is saying, you know, oh, you worried about my wife or something like that, right?
It's really setting him off.
So he points the gun at Peter's face, and then eventually lowers the gun. He says, you know, put the gun down. So he's like, okay. He's like smiling, and he puts the gun down lower.
He's like, couldn't you lower? Would you lower it or something? And he's like,
yeah, and he puts
sure, buddy.
And he puts
Let's
it down
go for some nut. I don't know.
He puts it right to.
I was just gonna go for like
right to really his groin, right?
I was gonna go for a joke, but I got nothing.
So then Sylvie screams because of the intensity, and
she screams because she realizes Andre is going to kill Peter. That's what she says, and you can tell she's like, no!
So then Michelle shoots through the window, and Andre's dead, like pretty much instantly, on the floor.
Sarah comforts and treats Sylvie, who pretty much wants Michelle to fuck off.
Yeah, well, she's...
Michelle's trying to, like, get in there, and she wants to, like, apologize to Sylvie and everything.
Really bad timing, though. And...
yeah, but that's what I'm gonna say, like, Michelle's pushing, I think, a bit hard for... I know everything that's going on with Michelle super hard, but also she's pushing too hard for Sylvie. Like, I think it's just making it worse with her.
So then Eric takes Peter up against one of the portables outside, one of the trailers, and he's pretty pissed off at him. He tells him, you know, like, you know, it's because of him that all this happened, and he says, look what you've done to your sister, and basically Peter says, you know, it'll be okay, and he says, no, it won't be okay. You know, like, this is
totally guilt trips him. Right? Yeah. And I think he makes Peter, like, kind of, like, realize, like, actually, like, what had happened.
Yeah, you can see Peter's face. It's kind of like he realizes it's not just about him.
Yeah, it's not just as black and white and easy as he had thought it was in his head or whatever. So yeah, Andre is, and other Andre's dead. This is Andre Cormier, people. Yeah, don't ask me why they did this. Andre is Cormier, so is severely pissed at Eric.
Yeah.
And very obviously.
Yeah, he's not happy with Eric's handling of the situation. I think a lot of it is, too, he didn't realize exactly what happened because he wasn't there, but either way it seemed unprofessional to him.
Well, also, I think it's also, he's very protective of Michelle, which again is unprofessional in a way, because it's supposed to be just about being...
we do see that from Cormier at times. He seems to be kind of biased towards Michelle over her partners, but hey.
I'm not saying that like Michelle like did everything wrong. I just mean like because she had to do the shooting, like that's why he's mad at Eric, because he put her in that situation, he thinks, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, so TV and Joey end up doing lots of gossiping with the gang and all, and the gang pretty much just walks away from them.
Yeah. So then Michelle is upset. She breaks down and...
Yeah, this, oh my gosh, you guys, you know I always bring up these breakdown scenes at the beginning. But, oh my god, the way Michelle did this one and then the way Hannah tunes her out after, both two very powerful. Oh my goodness. Tina Keeper, that scene where she just broke down crying was just...
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the part where they added where Hannah tuned her out, though. That was emotional as well.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hear mom breaking down, which, you know...
She's like literally screaming that she killed somebody in town, too. Like, it was a very, very intense scene. And we get Harris all loopy.
Yeah, he's acting a little weird.
On drugs.
So then,
from getting shot.
So then Sarah and Eric talk. There's a bit
ranting
of
as well.
A little bit of a rant going on there. Cormier quizzes Harris on what happened in the situation.
Yeah, and Harris is definitely very quiet about the whole affair. Definitely trying to keep that out of it. So yeah, Eric and Michelle talk, and they admit that they've both screwed up. And yeah, but when you really go back and think about that whole police situation, maybe, but they also were just reacting, and that situation would have never come up in Lynx River. I think they did pretty good.
Yeah, Eric tries to bring light to the situation by saying, you know, this happened to me type thing, or happened to somebody I know, and Michelle's like, it's not the same, you know, I used to you know, go to school with Andre, basically, yeah, like, so, you know, it is really, when somebody passes away in this town, it's rough, right, or, you know them even if you didn't like them, right, but when you're actually the person that kills them, you can imagine how rough that would be on you.
Yeah, that's all we can do is imagine, right? So of course, so Jerry, our gossip, is gossiping with the town. Now, after this, we got Peter being really freaking weird. And that's all I can say. Like, I want to punch you in the freaking throat after the way you respond to Michelle after every encounter. Like, every encounter Peter responds to Michelle after the shooting is just horrible in this episode.
Yeah, he's like, you know, she totally saved his ass, and then she acts like he didn't, like, if she went too far or something. I don't know. I really don't understand. It's like he doesn't have her back.
Yeah, but it's like he does, but it's like he thinks she was just doing it to, like, help him, like, but it's not like it was necessary, so... Like, what are you talking about, Peter? Like, you really think she would do that? But so Ellen is mad at him, like, and you get a great addition from Rem Morrisell here. She is hilarious in this scene.
Yeah, she lets him have it, and maybe rightfully so. Like
maybe. Cormier quizzes Michelle, and Eric does this cute little thing, breaking in.
Asks if they want some coffee.
I brings a coffee or tea.
He knows that, you know, he's been listening through the door, and he's probably been waiting with that coffee, right? Or whatever
he could tell Michelle needed just a second.
Yeah, this is where the questioning was getting very intense, right? So he's trying to give her a break.
Yeah, and she was starting to get tongue-tied already, sorry.
Yeah, well, you can see Cormier knows exactly what he's up to. He's like, okay, Corporal, you know, like... He's going, you know, but whatever, it is what it is. It gives her the break she needs to continue.
Yeah, and she's just ready to go from there. And I think not just the fact that there was that pause, I think just, you know, seeing Eric and realizing, you know, he was on her side was also that little bit of oomph she needed. So, Eric and Michelle have a nice talk.
Yeah, and he, you know, informs her, you know, he's smart to inform her, you know, if this goes further, she has her rights, you know, she can get an attorney, you don't let him push her around, which is, you know, good advice.
Michelle visits Sylvie in the hospital where she's, like, in a sleep or whatever, and Sarah offers a pep talk that I can only describe as crappy.
So then Hannah comforts Michelle, which, you know, obviously is she needs.
It was perfect too, because Michelle's kind of just like, you know, like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to be in bed. Like, come on, like, I need to just breathe. But Michelle, and that's all Hannah was giving her.
And then Hannah sits on her lap.
Yeah, just
like,
sits on her lap
snuggle her.
and just lets her breathe while being there at the same time, and it was a beautiful moment. And I'm crying.
So then Michelle walks into the coffee shop, and there's silence. And then Jerry, it's nice what he does. It's kind of awkward, I guess, but
yeah,
he speaks
it was
up
awkward.
for her and says, listen, we're all behind you. And it's a good thing.
It was
to
the
say,
way the way he had touched her. It was kind of awkward, and I get it. He didn't really know. I think it was kind of he kind of went to do it, and then he decided I don't know if she'll want that, especially after what just happened. So he decided to take it away. But it's still just because of that, it made it a little awkward.
But it was nice what he said.
Yeah, especially for
and
Jerry.
It's probably right for the most part. I think most of the town is still behind her.
Well, especially for Jerry, I find these little moments of niceness. I like to exploit them.
And he's nicer than he seems.
Peter is again being a dickweed.
Yeah, we
That's
find
my
out in his
favorite
interview with Cormier, he didn't really. He still didn't have her back.
No,
so
he didn't.
Basically said that he didn't know whether he was going to shoot him or not.
He said he didn't think he was in the end.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or something like that. That's
what
he was talking
yeah,
to.
He didn't seem like he really had,
No,
had Michelle's back
yeah,
too much.
and so TV ends up saying something really stupid.
Yeah, he asked if they have a tape, I think, of the Waco shooting, which, was a big thing in Texas down, with the FBI and everything, I believe, down back in the 80s or late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, and then, so that leads to, Michelle kind of just, walking out.
Yeah, she storms out.
Yeah, and TV gets kicked out by Jerry, of course.
Jerry's get out of my store, which, he deserves it, obviously.
Yeah, and then Ellen and Peter banter. Obviously, Ellen, just like us, is upset with Peter.
Yeah, she lets him have it again. And
he deserves it.
She says, I think something like, if this was reversed, what do you think Michelle would do? You know what I mean? So, basically saying, Michelle would have had your back, right?
Yeah, after she, leaves, actually leads to her running. And then Eric...
Michelle.
Yeah, sorry.
And then Eric and
Michelle
talk.
Yeah, they have this really nice talk. And then Sylvie and Cormier talk. So at this point, she admits Andre was going to kill Peter. It takes a long time for her to get it out. She's crying and everything, but she admits it because she realized that. That's why Michelle shot him in the first place, because she saw the look in her eye. And Sylvie's eyes, just like we did in the camera when it panned towards. Sylvie looks scared. Michelle Thrush did a great job, considering this was her first time.
And there's realistic writing here. Once she does admit to the fact that she thinks that Andre was going to kill Peter, she says, why did she have to kill him or something like that?
Yeah,
and he says
she didn't have
he has her back at that point, right? He says, well, she was doing her job, right? And that's exactly what a cop would do. Now that the situation is resolved, he's making sure that there's still confidence in the police department.
So Sylvie and the kids end up leaving, actually. And in the end, we find out Michelle's conclusion or whatever is it's justified. But for Eric, his conclusion is his case is being sent to internal affairs.
Yeah, so they're gonna
possibly
with possible reprimandation, I think, or something like that. And so he could be in a little bit of trouble over it. I'm not sure we ever find out.
Okay, guys. So for our discussion questions, we've got for you. How do you think Eric handled everything? Sorry. Was there anything he could have done differently?
Yeah, I don't know, personally myself, I think he did pretty well, and it was, maybe he could have done some things differently, but he didn't have the time to plan it out, so.
I think also it's a small town, it was just so unexpected that, nobody was really prepared, that it sent kind of everybody rushing to the point where...
Well, what really escalated? Sorry, go ahead.
What was it?
But what really escalated the situation was when Peter went in. Like Eric said to Peter later, his plan was to just kind of delay things until he could get, backup to show up. That's why he had called, and then, Peter obviously made that impossible, so,
So, Linda, I'm not going to try butchering your last name, sorry. You said, I thought Eric did his best and handled things best he could. I don't think he could have done anything different. Maybe stay in the band office once he was in, but I don't feel it would have changed the situation. I agree. I don't think really much would have changed. I think anything to really have changed would have been for Harris not to have made Andre more angry and for him to leave and get the rifle.
Yeah, I think Harris kind of inflated the situation.
Really, he's what escalated it.
He could have taken his comments more seriously, considering Andre's already come in there with an axe before.
Exactly. So, do you think Cormier was too soft on Eric or too rough?
Well, I think maybe too rough, and like I said earlier in the review, I think it may have been partially because he wasn't completely understanding of what happened during the situation, like how Peter ran in and snuck in, and he almost seemed like he thought that Eric allowed a lot of this stuff to happen, whereas it just wasn't.
I don't think he should have been. I don't think he should have went all the way to the RCMP office to make that call to Hay River. He shouldn't have been all the way out there, in my opinion. He could have just used the payphone at the cafe or something, Jerry's shop, the cafe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but either way, I don't know, but I don't think that was a good idea. But otherwise, I do think though what Cormier could have done is he should have given him an actual punishment himself, because I think he should have still gotten punished in if that's what he thought, and then as well sent him to internal affairs. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
but I think he should have got.
I don't know how they deal with stuff like that.
I don't really know. So, Linda said Cormier was pretty rough on Eric. He wasn't there to see it unfold. Eric was brave, and his main concern was to keep everyone alive and defuse Andre, which is true. He in the end, that's what matters. He did try his best. Same with Michelle. Everybody tried their best for the situation.
We found out that he isn't great at talking people down. I mean, look what happened to Al.
Yeah. Do you think this was just about the price of fur, or also Sylvie and Peter's affair? This was definitely about Sylvie and Peter's affair, says Linda. Andre was very upset still, as you could hear by his words in the defining moment when he lowered the gun on Peter and was starting to pull the trigger. Michelle saw it and knew he was going to pull the trigger, as we find out later from Sylvie. We've also got Barbara Williams. In my opinion, I blame Peter for all that went down. Michelle told him to stay away from the band office, but when Peter had the chance, he ran over to the band office and entered it. Things would not have gone as far as it did. So, Matthew, do you think this was just about the price of furs, or also about the affair?
I think kind of both, but I mean.
I think what led to the actual shooting in the end was the affair.
Yeah, I think it escalated. I think the two go hand in hand really badly for Andre, because it's kind of
it's his livelihood.
Yeah, well, it's demasculating that his wife slept around with another man. But it's also demasculating that he's losing his livelihood, and he's a proud man, right?
And I think to him too, it's even more demasculating for him to for Sylvie to sleep with a guy like Peter, where he's an office guy. To Andre, he doesn't think that highly of Peter because he's an office guy.
He probably doesn't have a lot of respect.
No, exactly. So I think also that's part of it too. If Peter was a trapper or something, I don't think Andre would have been as upset by it. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's your guys'
We'd have to ask him, but now he's dead.
So yeah, we will see you next week for Season 2, Episode 5.
Yep, and we hope to see you there. Thanks again for joining us.
The name is Arrangements.
All right, make your arrangements to check it out.
And don't forget, March 27th is trivia night! Make sure to also get your questions in by then for our interview with Judson Puyak, who played the wonderful Leonard Sake.
Alright. Peace out. Have a nice night. And we'll talk to you later.